TruthSeekah and/or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, levitation, miraculous healings, and/or remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the TruthSeekah podcast.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly! Dark savage!
Streaming live at TruthSeekah.com.
She's not a Christian!
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark-sided stuff!
And now, your host, TruthSeekah.
Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, TruthSeekah. This is the TruthSeekah podcast. I'm excited, delighted to be with you guys. All of you, young people, old people, boys, girls, men, women, wherever you are, man. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode, man. We got a awesome show planned for you. It's going to be good. We're going to go deep. We always do. I'm looking forward to diving into my friend's story today. A lot to offer, a lot that he brings to the table. It's going to be good. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's supporting the show, all of my Patreon supporters, everybody who's been partnered with me on that end. Thank you so much for believing in the work and helping co-create this show experience to bring it to the masses. And it isn't just this show. There's a lot that we're doing on the back end as well. My music is connected, all the events and things that we're bringing to the table there, all of the beautiful messages and inspirational stuff that I get from people, where people say that my work has touched their lives and has changed them in such a way that, birth a spiritual awakening and helping them go deeper on their journey. I believe that you guys share in on that with me, because I could not do it by myself. I couldn't do it. It takes a lot of money that goes into taking this stuff to the next levels, creating websites and hosting events and all kinds of stuff that we're doing. And the vision's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're adding more people every day who are a part of our community, taking it to the next level. So again, thank you for believing in the vision, from the bottom of my heart. And this goes out to everybody from, you know who you are, man. Whatever you do, even just a like or a share on Facebook, on YouTube, a review on iTunes. Listen, all of it means the world, and it goes so far. Thank you so much for believing in the work. We got a couple things coming up I want to talk about really quick as far as those events are concerned. March 20th, I believe it is. You can go to TruthSeekah.com to quote me on it. But we got a concert coming up. We're going to be doing a house show here in Mobile, Alabama, and everyone is welcome to attend. I think the tickets are only $7 to get in at the door, and it's going to be really fun. So I haven't done any live shows in a long time. Because of COVID, but maybe not because of COVID, just because I don't do a lot of concerts these days anyway. But if you want to see me live and you want to hang out, definitely show up at the event. All the tickets and all that stuff are at TruthSeekah.com. Check that out. That is March the 20th. May 1st, we will be having our Reset, Refresh, Renew retreat again. So we've been doing these retreats quarterly, and they've been amazing. We've been doing plant ceremonies and plant medicines and experimenting with new stuff as far as the Amanita muscaria, which just blew our minds, literally. We've been doing cacao ceremonies and really just connecting with you guys out in nature, going hiking, getting to know you, doing the energy work, spiritual work, Kundalini yoga, has been amazing. So if you want to get in on that, those tickets are at TruthSeekah.com as well. Bunch of more stuff going on. Let me see here. For those of you who are watching, I'm going to show you this flyer. This is the latest thing that's kind of had all my attention lately, working on this website, the mysticcircle.net. And so this is kind of like the Patreon 2.0, like taking it to the next level, where it's not just TruthSeekah stuff. You're not just getting my music. You're not just getting my Thursday night School of the Mystics. You're getting events and webinars and private sessions and meditations, and you're getting not only stuff from me but from my friends as well. So our first webinar we have booked is with Miss D. Wallace, which is the mother from E.T. She's in Cujo, Critters. She was the Scream Queen from the 80s and early 90s, and she is an energy worker, energy healer, channeler, and she just has a beautiful message, and she's really good at what she does. But anyway, she will be coming on doing a live channeling energy work with us in a small group. So for those of you who want to get in on that, I'm going to start it off with breath work and meditation, do what I do, but then we'll have Dee come on to do her thing. So if you want tickets to that, go to themysticcircle.net, sign up. You can buy single tickets, or if you want to do a membership, it comes with the membership as well. So I'd love to see you guys be a part of that. It's going to be amazing. Every month we're going to be doing more stuff. I'm talking to other mystics and other healers and stuff about the upcoming months as well, to bring stuff to the table. And this is something else that you get as well, that I'm introducing this Sunday starting, which is the Children of the Breath. It's a Sunday morning breath work with yours truly. I'm going to be leading breath work and really creating that sacred space where we can go in deep together, where we ain't got to worry about, cameras being in our faces or time restraints or anything like that, that we can do the breath work, go in, connect with the Spirit of Christ through the breath, with the Spirit of love, go in and tap into the trance state and go deep. To go deep, to close your eyes, clear your space, and just see what shows up. And I'm telling you, it's one of the most powerful things that you can do. I'm going to be leading that every Sunday morning, and that'll be part of the membership as well. We also have readings from my friend Jeff Walsh is going to be doing some stuff weekly. Richie Breath will be doing some stuff as well. So you get a lot of really cool stuff, taking it to the next level. Go to themysticcircle.net to start your 7-day trial, or to become a member, get access to all of this beautiful stuff. Check it out. With that said, all that news out the way, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into today's discussion. My guest today is Dell Henderson. Dell, welcome to the TruthSeekah podcast, my friend. How are you?
Wow, I am doing great, and I'm just in gratitude for just being in this space and excitement, hearing the announcement of all the stuff you have going on. I'm like, wow,
so much.
Man.
It's hard to promote, dude. When you got so much, because when you start promoting stuff, then other stuff has to take a back seat. Promoting the music or promoting. I got an 8-week course. There's like so much stuff that like you got to pick and choose. So I know I said a mouthful and I told you, but listen, this is what we got going on, man.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
We're gonna go deep into your story, man. What you do, what you bring to the table. You do private coaching, one-on-one sessions, help people find their best life and overcome obstacles, and so many different ways that you do that. There's a reason that you do it. We're gonna get behind that reason, hear your story, all that good stuff. We're gonna talk about why you got that champion belt over your shoulder. But first, man, let's kind of just get into it. As far as for those people who aren't familiar with your work, just introduce yourself. Let people know who you are, what you bring to the table. We'll start there.
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, my name is Dell, and I like to call myself the True Essence Connector. And what I do is my unique style of coaching, in which I show people the possibility of what can happen when we can escape the inner conflict, not even escape, to get out of the inner conflict that we have within our mind and be able to integrate a more deeper inner peace with that. And the way I call it the True Essence Connection is your connection to this divine essence that within each and every one of us. Yeah. My belief is we all come from the same source, whatever you want to call it, God, source, creator, universe, and we're all created from there. And within each and every one of us is a unique expression of that. And what I do, and it's from my own journey, is starting to go deeper within to that connection, learn more about that connection, have your intimate relation with that divine. But then the deeper you get into that, you start to see like, wait a second, everyone around me is the same thing as well in their own unique expression. So I like to help people to just realize who we really are, minus all the stuff that we have in our experience, from life experiences to the conditioning, our belief system, our belief patterns, the traumas. It's like who we can be when we actually can be able to drop all those things from the past and be fully present in the now. Nothing as nothing.
That's good. That's where everything comes from, right? You have to be able to get to that nothingness, that now present moment, to be able to create, to be able to unpack and undo and move forward, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that's the source of creation, the void, as they say. Again, that place of the void, but we are the void as well. We're just manifesting this 3D reality in this physical form. But the good question is the question I asked myself, like, who am I before I even came into this form? What am I even before this?
That's deep. I believe I ask myself that all the time when we're talking about death, because it's inevitable, right? This body, this existence, this human experience, it's going to end soon. You know, we're not promised tomorrow, but where do we go? And I think, you know, asking that bigger question, where do we go, is following the breath back to where we came from. And that breath is what connects us. And that's why I'm big on breath work. And we are that spirit. We are that essence, and following it back. So huge questions, man. Have you got any answers? Any inklings?
That is profound, what you just said, by the way, about the breath. And just how that type of thing, the breath, it's something that happens effortlessly. And we don't even know. It's just happening. That type of thing, but it's like that flow of nature, the flow of the universe. There's something happening continuously that we may not even see with our human eyes, but there's something that has everything in this divine order happening with that. And getting present to your breath, you really get to see that type of nature flow, that effortless flow of the universe is expanding and expressing itself through us. It is monumental.
Yeah, and exploring it too. Exploring it. Like there's one thing of that, well, you know, it just is, you know, nothingness is where but the fact that we get to tap into that through many different means, I think, and explore it is so beautiful, you know. And I don't think we can do it enough. And I have to be honest, like for me, you know, it's always been something like, I guess, not wanting to be a hypocrite. Of teaching this stuff versus doing it, because you know we get into this thing where we got clients and we're doing this stuff, and you know I tap in with a group of people on Thursday nights. We do it live on the air and prayer and breath work and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, and then I'm building website, I'm working, and it's so that time of like when I tap in, it goes farther and further and further away. It's like, man, I'm trying to create without being connected, even though that we're always connected to the breath, and it's as close as your next breath to go in and be inspired and get downloads or whatever you want to do. It seems like it becomes fewer and further between each time. But I had a beautiful reset yesterday of just going in and just being like, letting it all become new again. I'll say this, I've been trying to create courses, ideas where we can take the community, how to do it, how to design it. And it's a lot of brain power. I'm smart, but when it comes to birthing something, I want it to be organic. I want to really be inspired and be behind it. And it's not always that way, at least lately, until I go in. I go in yesterday, dude. And this is downloads upon downloads of breathing techniques, how to explain and take people with us, and just so much more. And I'm like, why in the hell have I been putting this off? I teach people to do it, but I myself, you know, haven't been a student of going in just because I'm teaching people to do it. So we got to take people with us, man, and really go in, man, and champion that inner work, dude.
Yeah. And great mirror, by the way, does the same thing. I would teach people about Oh, you have to connect to your source. Oh, you are divine expression of the creator. Oh, you have to be with yourself. You got to meditate, even the coaching stuff.
Yeah.
And this true essence connection, like it came to me in just a meditation. I was meditating, this thing just came to me. This term, I'm like, oh, what is this thing? Like, what is true essence connection type of thing? And also, what is this true essence connector? And I asked myself the honest question. I said, with this thing I'm getting, this information, am I connected to my true essence connect? Do I feel like I can be connected to it? And I was honest with myself, like, no, like you're a hypocrite. You're being bullshit. You're teaching spirituality, but you're not really embodying spirituality. It's teaching. There's a lot of teachers out there, even myself, I've been that. It's profound information that we receive from doing plant medicine, from doing this, watching YouTube, watching powerful channels like this. You get this information. Oh my God, wow, this is amazing. I want to share this with other people, share this and share that. But it's like, the main thing is integration. That's the number one thing. And in my journey, that was the most important thing for me that allowed me to really start to go to like a whole nother cosmic level. And that's the integration work, in which now like the embodiment of it and practicing it, but also it's a different energy too. And it's more effortless because you're embodying it, you're being it, and you just do it more easy, more at flow. But people even just start showing up like synchronistically that are just looking for the next step in their own evolution and things like that. And it's like, oh, I just overcame this. And then next year they have a conversation. Somebody say, oh my God, I'm dealing with this right now. So it's like, okay, that's the reason why I went through it.
Man, I was just thinking earlier, and I've been saying this, and people say I give myself too much of a hard time when it comes to like writing music. They want new music. And like, I mean, I've put out an album and the next day people are like, okay, when's the next one coming out? Like, damn, it took me a year to come out with this. Now you want, like, you know, it's something special. There's a piece of me in it. People are having spiritual awakenings. People are having encounters and dreams and visions, and it's changing their life. It is alchemy. And I have been diligent with the information of encoding my music with that stuff, that it's all organic to take you on this journey. And it's a lot of work that goes into it's more than just writing a beautiful verse or writing something deep and rhyming mystical words that rhyme together. Like, it is a part, like it's hard to do. A piece of me is in those songs that people are like, we want more. But I have to, there's this piece of me, or it has to be that. Like, it has to be something that doesn't exist, something that that only comes from being in that flow, being in that vortex, as Abraham Hicks would say. Synchronicities are coming. All of the music and everything and UFO experiences. Listen, I got so many experiences, but it all comes from, going back to what I just said, going into that, like that breath work and that deep meditation. Yeah. When you go back into that, it fuels the synchronicities. It fuels divine connections and breadcrumbs that from the universe that connect all of us together. You can't have one without the other. So to be responsible with this information, to respect it, we talk about this stuff nonchalantly and all this kind of stuff, but there's a reverence. There is something special about this stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful. It's co-creation. It's the divine. It's divinely. And also it's meant for us to receive it, to be able to bring it out in our own unique way, to one, reach our audience, our tribe who are looking for us, but also to embody it because it's in our own journey for whatever experience that we had, to integrate that, shift the energy, raise the vibration for it, and be able to go from wherever status it was at to a place of unconditional love and sharing that with people and show them like we're infinite. Anything is possible. We can be able to go through and work through anything. And also the fact like who is behind us, who has our back. Like they said, Abraham said, the universe has your back. And it's like, yeah, the universe has our back, but also we are our own unique version of the universe within us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it all can be boiled down into you know, from a connector, from a leader, a coach, is like we spend a lot of our times and we shift our mind into getting information for other people. Let me help you get through. Let me teach you what I know, blah, 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 blah. And that becomes priority versus let me go in for myself.
Yeah.
I need to disengage and reconnect with the infinite intellect. You know what I'm saying? And really tap in for me. Damn what you're going through right now. I need to do my own inner work. I got to do some of me. And so, man, to stay hungry, to stay in that. Because listen, man, it's, you know, the newness wears off of a lot of this stuff, you know, contrary to popular beliefs. Everything that is new and shiny at first, like eventually, you know, people get bored and they move on to something else. Oh, I'm not doing breath work no more. I'm doing this. I'm not listening to your podcast. I'm doing that. It's like, hold on, like the newness of all this stuff, and we begin to just be seekers of those shiny things. So to be able to stir ourselves up, like in marriage with a wife and a spouse, like to go deeper into that relationship and remember you know, why you said yes and why you're here, and go deeper and deeper into that with the universe and God and the energies and everything that's surrounding us.
That was beautifully said. And yeah, I've done that too, dipping and dabbing, going from here to here. Oh, this is,
we all have,
shiny spiritual syndrome.
Yeah.
I call it cat syndrome. So like I call myself, I got a spirit of a cat within me. It's like a laser pointer. The next thing, like, okay, let me try this.
Squirrel.
Yeah. Well, meditation helped me to like get more focused in that type of way. But I still, like, if I see or feel energy a certain way, oh, what's that going on over there? And it's like going for the new best thing, or the next best thing, or what's currently popular right now, or popular terms and things like that. You can see it a lot. A lot of people are using, what's the word, toxic, or think this is toxic, or this person's a narcissist, or I'm an empath, and these new trends or new labels and things going on like that. And it's very wary, because like for everything, and I practice it based upon listening to Lao Tzu, the way to the Tao of the balance. There's a balance between everything, and everything. If you do anything overexerting, it's out of balance, or anything too under is under balance. So with that, I use my journey of like what's overly like over labeling or under labeling, and just things like that. And I don't even know where I was going with that. It was
just about bringing about that balance, man, for all things. And there is a time that we have to disconnect and go into creative mode, and go into you know what I'm saying, admin mode, and building stuff, and you have to use the other side of your brain. You know, you have to use the side that isn't, obviously they kind of, we need the balances, having them complement one another, how to articulate this for other people, how to explain this, or put it in a song, or put it in a teaching or a course, right, where other people can consume it. So there's kind of both sides that we are the true shamans of being able to go in, pull the information out. And if you're not pulling it out and integrating it into your life, where other people, where it's practical for other people, then, what's the point of your mystical experience, if you can't integrate it. That's a hard thing to do, but it's definitely the balance that helps us be able to go in and out and back and forth,
Yeah. I felt like, for me, I believe that, and that's the way I live. It's like one of my mantras is life is my integration process, as long as I'm fully present in the moment.
Yeah. Yep. Be fully divine and fully human at the same time.
Exactly.
To be fully eternal and understand this is temporal,
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Like we were earlier in the podcast, the death thing of something, like we don't know when we're going to go. This is a temporary experience, but a lot of us are living as if this is like a long-term permanent experience, as if tomorrow's promise, or even if like, oh, let me save up for the future. Like whatever it is.
In
like
6 weeks, I'm starting this program. It's like, you might not make it.
Yeah.
Just say that because you're like Debbie Downer, but you got to cherish this moment. And the plant medicines, meditations, when you're in that realm with spirit and the spirits, which are all reflections of God as well. That's their song. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the ride, be present, be present. So there is no 6 weeks. There is only now. And how do we communicate that? The breathing techniques, meditation, courses, like everything that you're bringing to the table, coaching, helping people to be mindful, because in that moment they can create whatever it is that they want for themselves.
Yeah. And the normal dogma, it seemed like it is like worry about tomorrow, worry about this, worry about that, going back and forth, not being able to like fully just be here and be for yourself. Distractions. And for myself, that's what I used to do, distract myself from really being for myself. And then when I had to force myself to be for myself, it's like, it's too intense. Let me grab this alcohol or this porn or whatever it is to like take my mind off of like these emotions that are coming
gratification up.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Versus delayed gratification. You know what helps me, dude? I'm a big Bible guy, right? We talked,
let's go there.
We talked several weeks ago, but the Matthew 5 to Matthew 7, and Jesus is like sharing the Beatitudes and like how to stay in the moment. Don't worry. He says, don't be anxious for nothing. He's telling you how to be present in the moment. Listen, you're anxious about this program you're starting in 6 weeks. Don't listen, set it and forget it. It's going to come. Be present, be in the now. And so there's so many, when it comes even to money, how are we going to provide, how are we going to do things? And Jesus is like, listen, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough problems for itself. Be in the moment. Worry about today. Look at the birds. They don't worry about tomorrow. Look at the lilies of the field and how beautiful they are and their splendor and their majesty. They don't worry, and your Father in heaven takes care of them and clothes them. How much more you? So like all of this stuff where like the world is trying to take our awareness out of the present moment where everything is created, and we're fighting to be present and in the moment. Even though you are a creator, you got stuff coming up, schedules and all that. But even though you have that, set it and forget it. Return to this conversation. Be present wherever you are.
Yeah.
And Jesus, like I said, Matthew 5 to 7, they're just practical stuff, dude. So good.
Yeah. Jesus is the man. The whole, like his whole teachings, the way he's being, and just the way he throws, the way that he say things in the parables, the way he does it. Yeah. But it's like those who are ready will hear it, and those who are not ready are not going to hear it.
Yeah.
But like as you can see too, what's happening is those who are not ready misinterpret what he was trying to say.
Yeah. Take it literal.
Yeah.
Taking all of it literal.
Yeah. So weird. And like we mentioned in the conversation a couple of weeks ago, like for me, I got raised up in the Christian faith, the Christian beliefs and things like that. And then I had my experience with plant medicine. Then I went into the spiritual side of things and really going into learning more about the metaphysical, law of attraction, all these different things. And it came to a point for me at that time, I was like, all right, Christianity, oh, fuck this. Like it's BS. It's like, I feel like it's BS. It's trying to keep me contained. But even as a kid with that, I was curious about that because I asked the question one time of if God is like the creator of everything and pretty much God is infinite, how there's only one way to God if he's infinite, because he's everywhere. But also like the fear that I had as a kid, just thinking about that now, the fear of the boogeyman, like, oh my God, if I do this the wrong way, the devil's going to get me, or like having nightmares about this monster grabbing me and stuff. So it had me so afraid that like, oh, I got to try to be good like people tell me to do, or else I'm going to die and I'm going to go to hell. I'm going to be punished forever and all these stuff. And it made me resent it. As I was resenting that, I was resenting my mother, I was resenting the whole Christian thing. And it just recently for myself, I reintegrated that portion of me because I realized too in the spirituality community, there's great stuff as well. There's a lot of great stuff out there, but then there's some stuff out there like, hold on, I don't know if that resonates with my soul. It's like the ones people like, you should do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this.
Yeah, some of them can get dogmatic, worse than Christians, dude.
Yeah. I think like, one of the scariest things is like ego. What people don't know is their ego, because it's disguised as spirituality.
Yeah. Well, you learn these new truths. I mean, we do it as Christians. Like for the person who becomes a Christian, this is your truth. You found something new. The newness is on it, and you're telling everybody. Hey, man, come see a man that changed my life. Listen, when I got born again, we would walk through Walmart, and I would get the phone, and I'd do the intercom, and I start preaching in Walmart over the intercom. The Lord's coming back. He desires a relation. Listen, we're hanging out the window screaming. We're just zealots for God.
Yeah.
It's similar to when, vegans, and they learn about veganism, and they get into PETA, and they learn all kinds of bad stuff, to how your meat's processed in the process of giving it to you. And then they do that kind of stuff, but for the animals. Save the animals, man. You're not supposed to eat them, dude. And they get really militant. And then other people with spirituality or whatever is new, you're militant, you're revolutionary. You found this amazing truth that everybody needs to know. But I guess you've kicked compassion out the door. I guess you're really compassionate. It comes from a place of compassion, but as far as your communication skills, they're kind of lost.
Exactly. And that's like one of the things I say too, is like every single word out there has infinite levels to it. Mm-hmm. And also based upon the person's perception and beliefs of what that word is, they acted upon it like, oh, I'm being compassionate because I'm trying to tell you, if you don't do this, you're gonna go to hell.
Yeah, love is hard, man. Love tells you what you don't want to hear. You hear those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you and I, once again, mirrors again of like when you find this revelation that really like excites you and it's working for you, you want to tell the world. Mm-hmm. And when I'd be like, oh, here, I want to tell you, and this is with Christianity as well, when I was a kid, and even like a little bit of my adult years, I would tell people like, listen, you gotta go to church, man. You gotta go there. You gotta get saved. You gotta do this stuff. You're gonna do this or whatever. Like, change your life. Like, you can change your life or whatever. Just having this conversation with Jesus, surrender to him and confess your sins and all this other stuff. And you're gonna be able to shift your shift and be divine and be forgiven and all these other things. And even with the plant medicine, when I was doing plant medicine, I was trying to show the world like, yo, oh my God. Yeah. And it was like a little shame thing too.
Your mind
like,
is blown.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, this person is just so upset with life. Here, you need to take some plant medicine. You need to do this. Like, you guys need to do that.
Yeah.
And even like with that one, I realized too, like, it's just one of the infinite paths.
There's people that do plant medicines every day and they don't receive the benefits from it. You know what I'm saying? It turns into a commodity. Just like that same person can go to church every Wednesday and Sunday and not get anything, but when you go, man, you're in tears and it's speaking right to your heart. Like, it's different strokes for different folks, and we got to be able to recognize God in all of it, man. The things that we love, the things that we hate, the things that make us mad. In every single thing, you're talking about these different ways to get to God, and I see everything as a portal to the Creator. Everything will take us there, an expression of God. Because I see that. And then at the same time, the duality is there for it to be a portal to the devil, to the underworld, to everything is real, so we get to choose if we want to see the beauty in it or see the negative repercussions. Both exist simultaneously, and we get to choose. If we want to be more loving or if we want to be more dogmatic, if we want to be more righteous or we want to be more wicked, every duality exists, and but God is in it all. That's what I'm saying. God is in it all. He's in the righteous and he's in the wicked stuff too. Somewhere we got to be able to see and identify that. If we want that thing to change, we got to be able to identify and see something beautiful in it. It's hard, not easy. Because once you start doing that we do it with people. We look at people and we look at boxes or how people introduce themselves. Well, hey, brother, I'm Bishop so-and-so. at this point, I give a damn who you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm Reverend, I'm President, I'm Donald, whatever. Listen, that's a title. That is not who you are.
Yeah.
And so we address people, and even the people that we like and we associate with. Okay, are they Christians or are they? I thought I heard him say he was a Hindu. Derek, are you hanging with? Is that guy you're interviewing a Hindu? You got to be careful. Like, listen, I don't give a damn what they say. I want to know about the fruit. I want to know, the essence of what the good part. Jesus said it. The good person, out of the goodness of their heart, will bring forth good things. The wicked person, out of the evilness of their heart, will bring forth that which is evil. That's everybody, the righteous, the wicked, or whoever. So not to judge anybody on some facade that doesn't even exist. Your title means nothing. God deals righteously with everybody. And that's one thing that in Christianity, that was like, we were exclusive, bro. Like, you got to, if you ain't with us, you against us, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Mile High Club, man.
And even I say, if you're not with us, you're against us. Jesus kind of says the opposite. If they're not against us, they're with us. It's kind of deep.
Yeah, Jesus in the parables, man.
Yeah. So hey, I want to go deeper into your plant stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute, but got to talk about the elephant in the room, man. What is the huge wrestling belt over your shoulder? For those of you who are listening on the podcasting apps and you can't see this, Dell has this huge, looks like WWE style wrestling belt, red and gold over his shoulder. What's the deal? What's going on with that?
Yeah. So this is a story of a manifestation, but also when I bring it full circle, you'll understand why I wear it. So this happened about, I'm trying to get the exact month, April of last year, around that time. So in April of last year, myself, my mother, and my father, we all developed COVID. We all had COVID or whatever. And with the COVID, myself and my mother were able to work through it and get healthy, and we're back to normal, feeling great. But my father got the complication from pre-existing conditions, and he passed away in April. And
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. And my father was in my life for all my life, which I'm so grateful for. I had both parents in my life, both parents who lived with each other for all of my life. So to have that experience, but during that time, even before the passing of my father, that's when I really actually decided to start embodying the True Essence Connection, start embodying the spiritual works, really start to, they call it, build my spiritual muscles. So when life shows up the way it shows up, you can be able to use your spiritual muscles to be able to work with it in some type of way. So got this news with the death of my father. And at that time, I'm like, okay, I have a choice with this. There's something that's out of my control. My father passed away. And what I usually would do is when something intense will happen, let's say like a breakup or any other potential deaths that happen that's close to me, I would run away or not handle it. I would find ways of not going there. Let me do alcohol, drugs, whatever distraction I needed to do to keep myself from going there. But I made the choice. I was like, you know what? I'm going to fully go in this. I'll say I'm going fully in, and I gave myself permission. Like, I'm going fully in. I'm gonna allow whatever needs to come up with this to come up, because I know that this is going to burst something amazing out of me. So I went through all the stages of emotions for grieving the loss of my father, grieving the loss. But I called it, I was grieving at peace. I was at peace that my father was no longer in pain or what he was dealing with. And also it was his time, no matter what. I went through the process of blaming COVID, blaming all this other shit going on, like blaming external stuff for what happened. I accepted, I went through that process, and I was able to work through that. And I started to integrate and started to think about the memories that I had with my father, like the fun memories we had and this conversation that we had. And also just thought about the last time that we actually had interaction, and this is how the universe works. So my last interaction I actually had with my dad was for the very first time, and this was the first time in like ever, probably like in years. I would say like years. Me and him, we embraced for a long, powerful hug with each other. And like, now I'm like, wow, that was sort of like the synchronistic where we were saying goodbye to each other in this physical realm about this. And what happened was I started thinking about my childhood memories, like I was mentioning, and me and my dad, we love to watch wrestling together, and we watch like WWE, WWF, like the Attitude Era, WCW, the NWO, those type of stuff. Like that's when wrestling was like really. I call it like wrestling was wrestling. It was pretty fun, switching back and forth. I was a kid running back and forth from my room to my dad's room.
Wow.
You just seen that on Raw? You just seen this on Nitro? You just see this on Raw?
Heck yeah.
But what I realized when I was integrating these parts, these childhood parts of myself, and I was thinking about those memories, was there was a moment I got this in meditation, clear as day from my childhood experience. And I was like, hey, I asked my mom and dad, like, hey, I want to get this championship belt. Can I get the championship belt? And this is the belt right here that I wanted to get, the heavyweight championship belt. I was told no at that time. And for me doing the work through emotions, there was a part of me that was still upset and feeling not worthy because I was told no. And I integrated that part of myself, that child part of myself from that age. I asked myself the honest question, like, do I still want to get this championship belt? And then it was like, hell yeah, I want to get this belt. So I was like, okay, cool. I can get the belt now. I actually can afford a belt. I was like, the belt's not even that expensive. I got, it's like, I was in my mind just thinking all the possibility. It's totally possible I can get this because of this and this and this and this. So I was running this energy of feeling possible for it.
Wow.
And I kid you not, once I got out of meditation, 30 minutes later on Facebook, I just searched. I felt the intuitive nudge to search on there. Oh, is there like any groups that make championship belts? So I looked that up. I found this group that makes championship belts for people. And I went in there and they said, it was a post like, oh yeah, we're having a contest, a random drawing to win a championship belt. You can win a custom belt of your choice. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to see what happens. I wasn't attached to it, but I'm like, listen, I feel like I'm going to win this. But I was like, I'm okay if I don't. That type of energy. Put my name in a contest. Boom. I won this belt here. Now I won it and I use it now. But like the way that I use it now is it's like my way of having my dad near me physically. Like I just feel his presence no matter where I go. And just having this as well. It's like this, it holds on. It allows me to be able to see like a powerful memory with my dad and just a bond that we had in our own unique way. And it's the thing of saying like, it's with parents. A lot of us in the journey is feeling like our parents may have not raised us right. And what I was able to integrate is my parents raised me the very best that they could, and they loved me in their own unique way. And for me to be able to see, to like make that declaration of belief, I got to see just how my parents loved me in their own unique ways. And even now with my mother, and she's in her Christian belief, and I see how she loves me based upon that, with that belief, because like I totally understand where she's coming from with that belief, or with the Christian belief of like, yo, I want to save my child's soul, keep my child's soul intact based upon my belief, and it's totally fine. I was like, I told her, I was like, I love you for saying. I was like, I appreciate that. But now I'm able to have an open conversation. I could see, I could feel the love and being expressed that way. And it all started with the death of my father happening. I was able to integrate all this stuff now to pretty much bring me to a whole nother level. And even talking about it then, I quit my job too in April, because I asked myself the question, like, what am I doing with my life right now? Because that brought,
was that after plant medicines?
Oh, that was, matter of fact, I quit a second job. So we can get into the plant medicine story of that one. That's another interesting story as well. But yeah, this is the second time when I really decided to like fully be done with like the corporate thing, because it wasn't serving me anymore. Yeah. I was at this point of what serves me even deeper is being able to change somebody's life, change somebody's soul, or help them to align with their soul and really be able to shift the illusions.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a point in time where you got to say yes. and you gotta, and for most of us, it's a step of faith. Most of the time, the transition's not some easy, like, hey, you're making enough money now with your side gig, you can go ahead and step away. It's usually not like that. It's usually some kind of big step of faith, and you try it, and you want it bad enough that you're willing to work your ass off to get it. Getting it is one thing, keeping it is another. Because once you're in it, things change. The drive that you had changes. When you're at that corporate job and your boss is breathing down your neck and he's coming in checking on you every 5, he's picking on you. You're like, there's a different drive to step into what your destiny is than now that you're in it. And you're like, okay, now what? Create. Okay, now what? Now there's this, keeping it is different, but saying yes, man, to that is huge. And we'll get into the plant medicine story, because I know that always plays a huge part. Did for me. But I want to talk about symbols for a minute, man. And the belt and how it represents something for you. I wrote a portion in my book about symbols and signs and sigils and monuments, even with sigils of like angel magic. Like, if I draw this symbol, this angel will appear. If I hold the Bible close to my heart, Jesus is near me. This cross on my neck symbolizes the love of Christ, and he died for my sins. And so there's these physical objects that are simply a representation of something eternal, something in the spirit world, something that has a deeper truth and a deeper meaning. But there are physical things that we can have around us that represent that. And when we see it, tattoos, even you get a tattoo. When I see that, it reminds me of my mother. It reminds me of so-and-so, right? The power of sigils and signs and symbols and monuments, even looking at like America, when we look at the Statue of Liberty. And most of us would just say, we don't think too deep about it, but that's a symbol of a treaty of freedom, right? And that you can go whatever way you want with that. But any monument that you pass up, it reminds somebody that they erected. And it's throughout the scriptures, and the pyramids were even thought to be some type of monument, or altar, if you will, that you can worship at. This altar where you can commune, even in your mind, to give adoration and to think about these things, which is symbols and signs and sigils. All of those things are so powerful, and it's a beautiful story, man, that it connects you in that way. And most of us have those things of nostalgia that remind us of the innocence when we were a kid. I think music is a big one for me. I listen, even music that I didn't like in the 80s as a little kid, it reminds me of like riding in the back seat in a car headed to the, go do something fun with my mom. You know what I'm saying? Or we're about to go swimming and my mom listened to this band. Now when I hear that band, or, it's even stuff you don't really like, it's a portal. It's that song is a portal into a timeline that you once lived, 20 years ago or whatever. So, man, I'm big on that, dude. And again, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah, man. And the symbols, it's perfect. Perfect way of bringing it together. Because what one thing means for one person can mean a complete opposite thing for another person. And it's like this type of thing, like me having this belt. And some people just ask me, some people ask me out of curiosity, like, oh, why you have a belt there? And then some people are like, why you have a belt? And then when I tell the story, like I just did, like the reason why, they're like, oh. And to bring that home is like, just imagine the possibility of what can happen when we just ask somebody why they do what they do. And just be open to receiving whatever answer they have for it. We can learn just so much by just having that conversation about just wondering why, or curiosity, just see why somebody do the thing that they do.
But most people don't do it though,
No,
that's the thing. But I think people like us, we do. Hey man, what's that mean? Tell me what it means. Like I just got a bunch of symbols tattooed, and people see different things. Some people see witchcraft symbols. Some people see the beauty of numerology. Like there's different things that people see because, like you said, they mean different things to different people. And even in the book, I talk about gang graffiti.
Yeah.
If you're driving through the bad part of town, or even a train passes by, and you see all this weird writing on the side of the train. For the uninitiated, you have no idea what that stuff is. You may be able to appreciate the beauty and the colors and the craftsmanship of that artwork, but you don't know what that means. That says something, that it's conveying a message of who runs this part of town. This territory belongs to the vice lords. This part of town, when you see a symbol, then you see that same symbol upside down. What does that mean? Most people, the uninitiated, they don't even know what those signs and symbols mean. When we look at, the dollar bill, all the signs and Latin and all of that stuff. What does it mean, man? Why is there a pyramid on my dollar bill? And until you look into it and you learn and you begin to initiate yourself, then you can appreciate or be scared of the symbolism,
Oh yeah. The pyramid, the eye, the single eye, all these different things.
The eagle with the 13 arrows, and it is so much. And I love all of it, man. Because allegory and, the stories. I mean, there's a reason why you just said, we talk about Jesus speaking in parables. You say, I love his parables. He knew how to communicate through a story with a deeper meaning. Aesop's fables, Mother Goose, and all the movies that you watch. You leave changed when you watch these movies, because there's a deeper essence that is communicated to you through all of this stuff.
Exactly.
Symbolism.
Exactly. And that was a perfect segue to just like the overall theme of True Essence Connection as well, of noticing those unique symbols you have in your own life that gives you the information for your life, for you.
Yep, that's it. Being able to interpret it, follow the signs. One thing you mentioned, I don't want to get too far from as well, just to get a little bit more info. When you went in through deep meditation and you were thinking about the belt, as a little kid, you mustered up the faith, the courage to ask. They said no. Kind of hurt you. It pushed it even farther away. What could have been in your grasp was a lot further away. So now you come to this realization and meditation. Listen, I can do it. You say, the word you use is something that is possible. In meditation, you received inspiration, an idea of something that was once impossible. That's what faith is. What was once impossible is now possible, because you came to the place where everything is created in the stillness of the breath, in the stillness of the now moment. You received inspiration, you planted it in the universe, and then you went out, and then we mentioned synchronicities and things that happened. You found a group and you ended up winning and all this kind of stuff. Like, go into that 0 point, the void, enter the void. I got a song called Enter the Void. I'm gonna play it at the end of this, but you went to that place to create it, and now you're helping other people find this 0 point, the void, and how beautiful it is, because we get to create whatever life it is that we want.
Exactly. And
it's not, say, no, I'm going to the Bible. God is not a respecter of persons. That's a scripture. There's no reason that it works for you and it doesn't work for me. Universal law, universal principle. If you did it, if it worked for you, if I am diligent and I want it bad enough, that's key too. How bad do you want it? Then it will show up for me. It will reveal itself.
Yeah. And also, let's continue to go in the Bible a little bit. I love what Jesus said too in the Bible is, you can do great things, even greater things than me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I heard that, and I never forget that. It was a meditation, and I said it directly to Jesus. Like, listen, I remember you in the Bible it said this, and I was like, I'm here to prove that.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to do that. That is called devotion. I'm devoted to doing whatever I need to do to be able to do that. But I was also able to, I had to go out of the level of like, oh, I'm doing this for me. and you know how that can get when you want to do something just for yourself, or the statues, but like there's a greater, higher purpose that for everything. And tapping into that, it allows you to tap into this infinite source of energy, but also infinite possibilities, infinite help. You have the universe behind you, but also you're co-creating it to help shift this planet, shift consciousness, shift humanity, because we're all here designed to be able to do that in our own unique ways.
Yep.
The ripple in the ocean, I like to call it.
Mm-hmm. That's good, man. And there's a similar place that I guess you enter in through plant medicine. Was it similar? What was the difference for you, and what was birthed that changed your life when it, and I guess at the same time, why did you even choose to do that? Coming from a Christian background, like that's scary, So let's talk a little bit about that.
This is funny because the reason why I did it was to impress a girl. So I was able to integrate, the girl who is now my wife. So it's so funny.
It worked.
It's so funny because during the time before even like getting into plant medicine or started to go into the learn about spirituality, like meditation and things like this, my wife at that time, she was doing that type of stuff, like the meditation and all this other stuff. I was still like very heavy into my Christian belief. She bought crystals and things like that to our place that we had together. And I have a son from previous relationship. And one of the funny stories, like my son, he's like, oh, because he saw the crystal. Oh, what is that? He tried to grab it. I felt so triggered about it. Jada, don't touch that. That's witchcraft. Yeah. Don't touch that. Don't touch that. Yeah. But what happened was her and I at that time, we were having a very tumultuous relationship going on. I'm like, so we pretty much came into our relationship together of like, all right, we're bringing our traumas and stuff that we had from previous experience in relationship. And we both came in with our luggage and threw it into the floor. Like, okay, let's have fun with all of our stuff that we're dealing with. But our relationship came to a breaking point in which it wasn't serving us. And she decided at that time, okay, like I can't be with it. I can't do with this. And like myself, and I explained it a little bit in my story as well. Like for me, I was a very selfish person, and me being selfish was because I'm the baby of the family. Well, not anymore. My son's the baby now. But at that time, I felt entitled, and I felt that like people were my toys, pretty much. And that included relationships, that they were my toys. And if they didn't play with me the way that I wanted to be played with, I would get upset. And then vice versa. So had a mirror in which we were just triggering each other. But then what happened was this one time for her, she had experience with plant medicine for the first time. And when she did it at that time, she came back. I didn't know what was going on at that time in my beliefs at the time. Oh my gosh, she's going up there being sacrificed during a cult and all this other stuff is going on. Being sacrificed to the devil and all this other
spirits to come into her and all kind of stuff.
Yeah. And that in my mind, I was like seeing that type of stuff. And what happened was she came back and she came back feeling great, happy, explode. And I'm like, why the hell are you so happy for? Like, what's going on here? And what happened was we had this breakup. We had a breakup at that time, or a break. But like in that time, and what I would do, and that's even from previous relationship, is like when a breakup happens, I would try to like do whatever it takes to mend the relationship, do whatever it takes to bring things together. So she mentioned, okay, like, you want to try this plant medicine thing? I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do this plant medicine. And it was like a way, like, all right, I'm doing this as a way of trying to spend time with her, but also to like woo her back in. Like, oh, look at me, I'm a
open,
good boy.
man. I'm open.
yeah, I'm open. I'm being a good boy, which is a pattern that I had as a kid, like from my parents. Oh, I'm being a good boy. I'm being a good boy. But I laugh about it too now. I'm like, universe, you're very slick, because there was no way in hell I would have done plant medicine if any other way potential. I'm like, no, there's no way. So I did it that first time, and this is like one of the very first times in which my heart just exploded, like with so much love that I didn't even like.
What was it? Was it psilocybin?
No. Oh, was this? No, it wasn't psilocybin. It was, they use MDMA, like, or plant form MDMA.
Okay, MDMA. Okay, yeah. So yeah.
So something like that, but then there was some other stuff, some stuff they use with like flowers and all these other things. But in that moment, my heart was just so open. And with it being so open, I was just crying hysterically.
Mm.
It was just like the first time of me just feeling this intense love. And I'm like, oh my God, I just feel so great in love and all these things. And that's the cool thing about, or the interesting thing about like doing something like MDMA or something like that, is like it just gets you straight to that point.
Yeah.
You don't go through like the process of getting to that, like with like psilocybin or ayahuasca and things like that. But I got to that point and I was like, okay, I'm good. So I got to that point of feeling that love. All right, yeah, I feel this. I'm good. Having the after ceremony high about it and things like that.
Yeah, and
but
it was something like, you know, setting is always huge with all of that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So it was something that was it a reverence? Was it like, it wasn't like you're at a rave, because people do the same, you know, MDMA at raves, you know.
Yeah.
And
it's
this total different experience, right?
Oh yeah, it was the perfect setting and everything. It was a spiritual experience. It wasn't like you said, like a rave or a party. Like, hey, let's all hang around and let's do some MDMA or whatever. But it was the attention, the setting, and all of that. So it was to have like that type of experience, which led to it. But this is the first time for me. I'm also feeling like all this energy. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like all this warm vibe in my body, like whoa. And I'm like just curious, like what the hell is going on? So that was my first experience of like just being curious with it. But then of course, like I was mentioning, I thought like, oh, this is it. This is all it is. This is all it needs to do. But then what happened was eventually the ego came back again, like, hello guys, I'm back here. And I still had the stuff that I had before even doing it that I didn't integrate or work with. Yeah. So what happened was her
like
and I,
during the ceremony or weeks after or something?
Oh, weeks after.
Okay.
So for the weeks after with it happening like that, I was like, oh crap, I'm feeling like this type of thing again. And my belief was like, oh man, I got to do more of this then to like get back there or get like that. But in the process of actually doing that, her and I, we still were combating. It was still like a lot of this friction happening. And this time it was an official breakup. And with this official breakup, I was like, I'm not even going to pursue or whatever. I'm going to be focused on me. Like, it is what it is. And I'm totally fine for this time, this breakup happening. It is what it is. I just surrendered. I didn't know why I surrendered. I just surrendered. I felt okay with surrendering. And with this process of me surrendering, this is when I had my second experience with plant medicine when we broke up. And with the second experience, I was just on Netflix, looking around, just looking at different things. I was already doing like a little bit of meditation stuff because for me trying to get her back, I was doing more meditation stuff, doing chakra work, energy stuff. And I liked it. I'm like, oh, this feels really good. I don't know what's happening, but I'm feeling really great about this. But during the breakup,
made you feel great.
Huh?
I said the devil made you feel great.
Oh man. and then once when we broke up or whatever, I joined a spiritual community and they did a lot of shamanic work, shamanic journeying, that type of stuff. And I'm like feeling really great right now. But I started to get curious. I'm like, what else can I do? How else can I be able to go deeper with this and deeper to explore myself? And I was watching Netflix, and on Netflix, there was a movie called The Last Shaman. And I don't know if you've seen it before. Okay. So The Last Shaman is about this guy who had The Last Shaman was a guy who had an experience or had addictions to medications, heavy medications.
Yeah. Okay. I remember. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he had no other choice. He didn't know what else to do, but his last resort was like, all right, I'm going to do or do ayahuasca. And if I don't have any like changes or shifts from this, then I'm going to kill myself. And of course, the he was able to do it, and he had a beautiful experience. He was able to shift his life. So then that got me curious. I'm like, oh, ayahuasca. Let me see about potentially doing this. Do I have to go to like Peru or somewhere to do it or whatever like that? So I started researching more about that. And then what happened, and this Oh man, it's funny because now I'm talking about the same type of thing that happened with the belt. So I was thinking about doing it. I thought, oh, I know that that's my next experience for me to do. I know I need to do this. And then what happened synchronistically was there was a group on Facebook that had plant medicine and things like that, and tri-state, this group that I joined. And in there, I found this group that had a local one going on in the tri-state, a local ceremony, in which I was like, I don't know why. I just feel like I gotta do this way. I didn't know who these people were. I only conversation I had with them was one phone conversation of, all right, yeah, I'll give a deposit here and then meet us here at this place or whatever. And that's it. And I'll make sure you wear all white and things like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Was it Soul Quest?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm keeping the full disclosure. Yeah, so I went to this place, and I went up to this place, and in the process of me going there, my mind is going crazy because it's like, what the hell are you doing? You don't know these people, you don't know what's going to happen. You could potentially get sacrificed and all this other stuff, but here you are, you're going to do this thing, and I just knew I had to do it for some reason. And that experience that I had was the most beautiful experience. It was next level beautiful experience that I had compared to my first experience, and which for me, I was able to start to see things from a different perspective at that time. It allowed me to start to see my experiences from another person's perspective.
Wow. Yeah.
So like relationships, instead of seeing it from my one side of things of like, okay, this is how it is, how I see it, I was able to see it from another person's perspective, another person's perspective, another perspective, another perspective, in which it helped me to integrate that there's infinite perspectives to every situation. You can just be able to see it from all these different ways. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful experience for me that I felt great. I came to the Neo portion of spirituality at that time, like, oh wait, I'm the one.
In the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like I was the one. And with that, I was just walking around feeling gloaty and feeling this stuff. But the same thing as the first one, in which I thought like, oh wait, I thought this was going to be permanent. I thought I'm going to be feeling gloaty and all this other stuff permanently. But of course I didn't. And the ego came back once again. It came back stronger. But in the process of coming back stronger, my wife and I, we actually got back together in a relationship, but it was a different energy because like what was starting to happen now was like her and I started to do the work. And this is something different because I wasn't at the time before doing the work. She was exploring more about herself. But like this together, this is the first time in a relationship, and there's two partners actually curious of exploring that spiritual nature about ourselves and that seeking that truth, seeking that more truth about ourselves. And the way I felt I needed to do it was to take more plant medicine ceremonies, like continue to do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I can just keep going with that. But eventually for me, it just came to a point. I just asked myself, like, why am I continuing to do this for? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? I asked myself the honest question, like, why do I feel I need to do this? And it was like, I need to do this so that way I can escape my present reality. I need to escape how things are. So I asked myself the question, like the truthful question, am I addicted to plant medicine right now? And I was. And that's a question that it was very intense to ask because the illusion is like, oh, it's spiritual. But then I asked the question, like, can you be addicted to spirituality?
Escapism takes many forms. Video games, eating.
Yeah.
Takes many forms. Spirituality, plant medicine, alcohol.
But I felt like I was doing the right thing by continuing to keep doing that. But my analogy I used to use for that was when I kept doing the plant medicine, what I was doing is like, okay, here's all my emotions and traumas and all this stuff that's going on in my life that's really triggering me. we'll put it in a nice little garbage bag and throw it in the closet for a little bit while I go do this plant medicine. But I never went back into the closet to clean that out. I just kept throwing stuff in the closet, throwing stuff in the closet, throwing stuff into the closet. And eventually, like, the closet just started to just like, to the point, like, I asked that radical question for myself of, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I doing this type of thing? And also the fact of my reality wasn't reflecting to me what I would like to reflect to me. And I, at that time, this is the first time I quit a corporate job. I did all this plan management. Oh man, like I gotta quit this job, man. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve me type of thing. And it wasn't the job. It was the fact, like, I wasn't serving myself. I just gave an illusion that this thing wasn't serving me, or this thing. And it took me like months of depression, working through it, but being radically honest with myself with the plant medicine. Why am I using it? And that brings it back to what I was talking about before about the balance with things. Plant medicine is a great tool. Every single thing is a great tool. But the question is, like, what is your intention when you're doing it? And my intention was, like you say, escapism. I was doing it to escape dealing with my stuff that's happening in the present reality. Mm-hmm. But I put the illusion that, oh, I'm doing spiritual stuff. I'm doing the inner work. It eventually came to a point also with doing the plant medicine when I started to have what they call like bad trips. When it was like started to show me the closet.
You're not supposed to be,
yeah, it's pretty much open the closet like, here's what's going on right now, buddy.
Yeah.
So it came to the intensity, like, do I want to keep having these bad trips, or do I actually just want to start integrating the stuff that I'm learning about? And I took a hiatus from doing plant medicine, and that's when I really started doing like meditation, being for myself, sitting with myself, and also just asking myself that question deeper, like, how am I showing up in the present moment? Or even deeper, like, who am I? Like, those type of questions I started to ask. And then eventually it just came to this point of that feeling that I had in the plant medicine, like that feeling of just the possibility when I'm able to or get out of the egoic mind and the belief structure and get into this place of this void. I was able to finally get like a little bit of a glimpse of that, of feeling that. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, this is what it's like without plant medicine type of thing. But what I realized from it is it takes the work of getting there type of thing. The plant medicine, it's a great tool to show you the possibilities, the potentiality of what is possible when you're able to really get out of the past conditioning. But then what happens, the integrative work is like, you do the work to allow yourself to work through those experiences, to love those things and be able to get deeper into it. And there's infinite space of love and whatever you can get into. But then now it's like a combination, because at first I was like, oh, I got to be in love the whole time. But then I get pissed off.
I'm not in the flow. I gotta take more, plant medicine to get back in the flow.
Yeah. Well, even like that, like the next level was meditation. Now, like, oh my god, I'm pissed off now. I gotta go meditate. I gotta meditate. But now it's like every single part, like you mentioned before, all of these parts are different levels of God. It's all like all this different stuff, and we're human. Yeah. It's these things come up. It's like, okay, what are you gonna do with it? You have a choice of how you're gonna handle this emotions or energy that's coming up for you. And now for me, one of my coolest model is like my triggers is my next level of my expansion. I just lean in that with love and curiosity. It helps me to integrate another part of myself.
Yeah, man, a lot to be said, dude. I think I'll say this one thing I thought that was really cool that you mentioned after the first plant ceremony or the MDMA, that eventually when you went back to your regular life, that returned to normalcy, you recognized the ego. I wonder if that was something that you really could identify before having this blissful experience, and then all the negative stuff that nags at you and the parts of your life that you don't like about yourself and all of that kind of embodies as the ego. Going back to the Bible, we'll call it the flesh, the fleshly nature, the egoic part of your brain that has to be right, that wants to look good, you know, all of these things that come with that, versus, you know, you kind of used it not really as escapism as the first time, but maybe a way to be accepted, versus if you were to drink alcohol or do something else, that when you came back, you wouldn't have had that profound epiphany, like, wait, there's a distinction. There's a place of bliss that exists in the depths of my being. Maybe this MDMA was a facilitator. Maybe the ayahuasca was a facilitator. But there's a part of me that exists that I don't like. And for some reason, I keep defaulting to the parts of me that I don't like. And to recognize that, maybe that opens you up to recognize, listen, there's a part of me that I love. You know, there are parts of me that I cherish, that makes me who I am, my individuality. Both of them exist, you know, at the same time, but I have to choose and kind of lean more this direction. So I just find it very interesting that you can even identify the parts of yourself that you didn't like, because I wonder before that if you can even identify that. Right? Even though it's like, hey, I got to do more work, I have to, and then so you try different ways to deal with it, eventually coming to a place where a place of rest, right? You know that it's there, and you know that it serves a purpose. It's not to eradicate the ego. The ego's there for a reason. It's not to run from the things that you don't like and shove it in the closet. It's to deal with it. It's to have a conversation face to face, own my stuff, and to be open and honest with it. And so the medicines are tools that allows us to see that. And I really honor that, and we hear it a lot in spirituality, or even like in a lot of Christian circles too, where people will be like, man, I can't get over these things. Like whether it's pornography addiction, or usually it shows itself in addictions, alcohol addiction, drug addiction, whatever, sex addiction. But the beautiful thing is, no, you identified it by knowing that it's something that you don't like to do, that it is troubling you. Listen, I need help with this. And the fact that now you can see it, maybe you could see it the whole time, I don't know, but you see it enough to know that you need to deal with it. Listen, I need help dealing with this. So people want prayer. People want to, you know, go through programs and just want help to how they can rid themselves of this part of themselves that they don't like. How do they do it? And I just champion the fact that you can see it. It's good because, and I just, what's the opposite? The people who do these things and there's no conviction. The people who use and abuse other people, there's no conviction. The people who drink every night continuously, the person who is a jerk, who's cheating on their spouse, who's just all types of what we call wickedness, and there's no conviction. And the fact that you have a conviction, or this part of you that you know you got to deal with, man, that's, you know, whether it's the Holy Spirit that reveals that to us in these different scenarios and settings and tools and medicines that help us. I just, the fact that we know that we can see it, man, and we know we need to change, and the medicine helps with that. You know, meditation helps with that. So I wanted to point that out, man. The fact that you said that you noticed that you kept going back to the ego, and the ego was there, and you were back into your old ways. The fact that you knew that, consciously knew, like, hey, I'm back to the old Dell. You know what I'm saying? So now I got to deal with it.
Yeah. And as you were talking about, thank you for helping to shed more awareness to it at that time. So like for me, it took me a while to like get to that point as well.
Yeah.
Because it was happening at first. I would just shift back. I wouldn't be aware of it happening. It would just happen like that. Oh, but I would ask myself the question of curiosity. Why am I still getting angry? Right now, I thought I first thought, I thought doing the medicine eradicated all that. I don't need to do anything else.
I thought your opinions of me.
Yeah. And that was actually a mantra I had as a kid, because I believed people's opinions about me and stuff like that, and it molded me. But I had this rebellious side of me of like, you can't tell me what to do type of thing as well, which I had to integrate and go into. But what happened was, when I was able to take a look at that, because it slowly started to happen, but eventually it came to a point where like the universe, like boom, like hit me to the point of like, you got to stop doing plant medicine, stop doing this, chill out. And which I did. I honored that. Okay, I'm honoring that. I got to be with myself. Yeah. And like one experience with plant medicine, they say like 24 years of therapy. I did like close to like 100.
You went through
like
your
nonstop.
100? Damn, that's a lot. See, I've
Yeah.
only done like 2, like as far as like going really deep with like psilocybin and stuff.
Yeah.
2 or 3 that were like really profound. And that's all it took. But I knew that it was going to take me 24 years to unpack all of this information. So that's interesting. 100, golly, that's a lot.
Yeah, man. So
I mean, Psychonaut, Terrence McKenna just going through and getting everybody's different, and their traumas and the way that we learn lessons. And like some of us, whether it's something good or something bad, I mean, it's something that replaced something for you, and helped you. And so it served you for that purpose, and you put it behind you, or you learn what you needed to learn, and however many times that took. We take those tests over and over and over in life. Some of us, we touch the fire one time, hey, it's hot, I'm never touching it again. Other people just keep going back to the beehive and getting stung every time because they want the honey. And you just keep going back, keep getting stung over and over. How many times do you have to get stung? How many times, And so whether it's something bad or something good, at least you're learning, and you can help other people in it. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think that, for me, I'm real 100 times it seems like a lot in my head. I feel like the reverence plays out. Did the reverence ever play out? It was just like, hey, I need to do this to maintain and stuff.
Yeah. And that was me on the over side of things.
Yeah.
And which the reverence just got thrown out. It was like I was using it to escape.
Yeah.
And that's when it was like, okay, now this is like a stimulant. You're using this as a way of coping with your stuff instead of dealing with the stuff that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I love what you mentioned before, because the number one thing that helped me was to be able to just say, like, I need help, and to seek that help. Yeah. I seek the help in support groups for my spiritual groups I was a part of. I got counseling, I got therapy. I also just life coaching, things like that. But then also what I did even deeper is just have that devotion time with God, to have this conversation and be with myself unconditionally. Like whatever shows up, and learning more about myself and why I am the way that I am out of curiosity of understanding that. And it's like pulling back the yawn string of just learning more about myself, why I am this way, why do I respond this way? Oh, why did this thing upset me compared to before? Like, oh, you upset me, you got me mad. But it started to become like, oh, wait, this person upset this part of me. Let me sit with this. Like, who's upset right now? Like, what part of me is upset? But I gave myself permission to, like, whatever part of me is upset, you can be upset right now. I'm here for you. And that was the most profound thing that helped me to shift even more of being with myself no matter what. Because now I'm not rejecting myself anymore. I don't need validation externally anymore, because I'm validating. I'm being with myself. I'm accepting myself. I'm loving myself. I'm allowing myself to be heard, accepted, and no matter what is said, it's totally fine. And what I realized as I'm talking about that is like, that's like having a conversation with God anyway. Like, you can say whatever to God. God, okay, I love you still. I love you.
Yeah, that's good. Another thing that stands out to me too, we talk about portals or, symbolism or things in our lives that remind us of things. And so when it comes to even these encounters with God, because, that was an encounter with God, your psilocybin or your plant ceremony and stuff, those are encounters with God. And there's things that remind you. Why do you need to be reminded? Because you forget. And I guess this addresses something in the chat right now as people are talking. They're talking about, someone mentioned communion, and then somebody was like, hey, why would you eat the blood of Christ and drink his blood and eat his flesh? That's weird. You guys are cannibals. Like, I don't know if they get it, but obviously something as beautiful as communion that is done symbolically. He says, do this. Why? To be saved? No, he said, in remembrance of me. Every time that you meet, have this wine, partake of bread, and just give me a moment of your time. So because we forget.
Yeah.
He said, do this in remembrance of me. Why? Because we forget. We are creatures of habit. There are things in the external realm that when we see it, it's a portal back to the blood of Christ. It's a portal to don't forget where you came from. Remember that you were an addict. Remember that where you were when I found you. Remember all the work that I've done. Even though you're having a bad day, don't forget. Write it down, take a picture. I don't care whether you need to have a poster or a tattoo or whatever. The same thing with the plant medicine. Because if we remember, I don't think we have to like keep going back there, right? There's songs that I listen to on the journey that if I listen to now, I'll probably just start crying, right? Those songs are a portal back to remember everything that I felt and conversations that we had, whether it was with God, universe, or my friends who were with me. And it means so much to me. I never want to forget that. But we are creatures of habit and we need to be reminded. So even with that, just to remember the information that was communicated with you, write it down in a book, whatever you got to do to remember those beautiful moments,
Wow. Yes. As I don't even need to say anything from that. You just said it beautifully. Perfect. There's nothing else to say from that. I resonate so much with that. It's about the remembrance of those moments.
Yeah.
And like you said, we all need those. We all need remembering sometimes, like those little things. Is remembering, like, okay, yeah, you are loved. You are whatever is affirmations or whatever works for you type of thing. It's like what works for you to allow you to connect to that remembrance. Do what resonates with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to be reminded and remembered. And people talk down on statues and paintings and tattoos, but we have to be reminded, pictures, all of that stuff. And I respect all of them. And so just want to put it out there. If anybody has any questions for Dell before we get off here, you can post them in the chat. If you are a patron, you can go to your Patreon account and click the Zoom link and come on and ask a question there. So either or. Post a question and I'll try my best to relay it to Dell and ask him a question. Christy's here in the chat and she wants to know your take on or relationship with kratom, if you've ever experienced kratom.
No, I never did, but I heard about like people I know had experience with that and it's beneficial. It's sort of like using something to get through like addiction. Some people are addicted to some pretty heavy drugs or whatever, and that helps them to be able to cope with that as they're in the process of detoxifying. So I don't have a personal experience with it, so I can't elaborate from my personal experience, but from people that I know had experience with it, I heard that is a very great experience with it. And it brings it back, though, the essence of what we're talking about, even with plant medicine, is like, what is your intention with what you're doing?
Yeah. The
proper intention with whatever it may be can actually help benefit you with a balance to it.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yep. And I think that's key too, because with that discussion, I'm just reading here, Jeff Nelson in the chat says that kratom was a great solution that helped them use it, but it is physically addictive. Versus spiritually addictive. I mean, you have that, but eventually your body gets addicted to it and you feel like you need it. And so he says that coming off of it sucked really bad. So I have talked to a couple friends who have got into this where they have just these addictive personalities. So they can't really do something once. Maybe that was something that you had going on. You can't, like a bag of Ruffles. You can't eat just one, you got to keep doing it. And some people, they get into a daily routine of it. And when it comes to kratom, that your body gets addicted to it. And I think that just goes to show you that, hey, you're not supposed to do this every day. The fact that it has negative effects when your body's addictive and you physically, and coming off of it hurts. And many people have said that it felt like it was a withdrawal of coming off of like hardcore pharmaceuticals, and I've never done that, but I've seen videos and have heard a lot of people that just shake and cry and their whole body aches and hurts, even on accident, like being prescribed something for pain, and then you were on it for a week, and then coming off of it is just like not pleasant at all. So a lot of people even use that why they won't quit, because they know that dealing with that withdrawal is gonna suck. So
oh yeah. And yeah, that's even just talking about that, not even just like with withdrawals, just with dealing with any potential pain that you know is inevitable. It's going to suck. It's going to be intense. It's going to suck. But the thing about it, in every single moment, is it's just a moment, but it's like it's very intense. It's sort of like when I made this reminds me of when I decided like, oh, I'm going to fully feel all this emotions that are within me due to the death of my father with this intense grieving. And what I did at first was like, oh, it got too intense, but I'm gonna order this food or whatever this is to like distract myself and like stuff down these emotions as a band-aid.
Yeah.
But then what happened was when I was like, all right, that's it. I'm done with this. That's when like everything's like boom, this intense pain and all these emotions started to come up. But what I realized from that is I'm not alone with this. And the number one thing is being able to, for me to vulnerably say like, I need help. I need support with this, and seeking that support, because we all deserve to have support. And there's people out there in the world who've been through what we are going through right now and can help guide us to be able to get through it in a more efficient way. I feel like that's like the most beautiful thing for all of us, because we have our own experiences that we overcame. And what we can do is, because us overcoming it, we did things that we may have tried, it didn't work, or this thing didn't work, but then we actually was able to do something that actually helped us to get over it. So that way we can be able to help serve others to be able to get through it in a more efficient way compared to like how we was able, or how we went through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, when you go through it, you have a natural empathy. You don't have to fake, hey man, I understand what you're going through. No, you don't. Like, but for those people who really have been homeless, they have a heart for the homeless people. They know what it's like. For those who have been addicted, for those people who have been cheated on and done wrong in wrong relationships, when you need an intercessor, when you need somebody to stand in the gap, listen, you have a compassion, and you are not just you know what I'm saying, sympathetic, you're empathetic. You can feel what it feels like to go through that. So that's, we definitely have to take that with us, and say, hey, listen, I'm passionate about this because I know what it feels like. And then you have, people commenting on things that they've never experienced, and they're experts on plant medicine, and they've never had a breakthrough, or they've never been addicted to kratom or whatever. Like, and other people will give their opinion on something they've never experienced. And so they're speaking as an expert on something that they know nothing of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you got the vice versa with it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the one thing I'm doing for myself, is if I don't know something, the most powerful thing, I don't know about it, but I can talk about other people I heard about that had experiences with it, but it's not my personal experience. Yeah. So I don't want to say that,
because it's subjective, right?
Yeah, do this or do that or do this. It's like, no, I don't. I have a personal experience with it, so I don't want to give you wrong, misleading information type of thing. But I think
I think with this podcast and just life in general, like, I just want to hear people's stories and find out what's working for them, and I think that, again, going back, and I know not everything works for everybody, but we've had enough people on here. It was almost 400 episodes, but we had enough people who are like just talking about, how they cope and what helps and stuff. And so, again, the system works if you work it, so we can find it out and get to the bottom of it, evolve, and see if it works for you. It may not work for you. Plant medicines may not work. Kratom may not work. Meditation may not work. But it does. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just respecting everybody's, what's helping them, be a good person, like be more loving, be more conscious. Like, that's the things that we champion. You know what I'm saying? And if that is a relationship with Christ, there's a clip I used to get mad at. There's a clip on this movie with the movie Menace to Society. Did you watch that growing up?
Yeah.
We watched it like religiously, like every day. But there was a time where there's this Muslim dude, Sharif, and they're at the family, they're at a big cookout, and Sharif's dad's sitting there talking to Cain, the main character. And he said, Cain?
Yep.
He's like, Cain asked the dad, said, man, we like Sharif, man, but why is he always on all this Muslim stuff all the time? Why is he trying to be deep? And he's like, listen, they eating chicken or whatever. He's like, listen, if Jesus can make Sharif a better man, I know he said if Muhammad can make Sharif a better man than Jesus can, then I'm all for it. And it's like, for me as a Christian, like, nah, man, like, you feel like because it's an attack on what you believe and the opposite of what you believe and stuff. And it's like, I remember like almost being offended as a believer, hearing that. And like, I come full circle. It's like, you know what? That works for him. And it may work almost the same exact way. That, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe he don't need what you need. I remember talking to Muslims a long time ago, Muslims in prison. And I debate with them because I wasn't in prison, but I worked with inmates. And we'd debate, we'd go at it, and they try to hit me with Islam and 5%er stuff and all that. And I'm talking about Christ and stuff. And I was like, listen, man, God's like, you ain't never experienced the love of God, man. You ain't never experienced his Holy Spirit and his love for you. And he's like, and he straight up told me, he said, listen, I'm not looking for a God that loves me. I'm not looking for that in a God. And that was kind of profound. Like, I am. And you know, we like to project that like everybody is just like us, you know, everybody needs this. But listen, at least at this point in this man's life, it's almost like those people who even try to sell you God from Christianity standpoint, that God will make your life better. God will make you rich, man. God will do, you know, listen, I'm already rich. Why do I need a God that makes me rich? You know, why do I need this thing that you're selling me? I don't need this in my life. So, you know, it's different strokes for different folks is what I'm saying. And I'm okay with that. Like, I can see the good in it. You know what I'm saying? Just like Sharif's dad, who can see the good of you know, this faith or this practice that he's doing. It's not my cup of tea. I don't get into it. But listen, I can see your fruit. And I judge you off of that. I don't judge you off, you know, I judge you off of your character, not off of the book that you're practicing. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it did. Oh, you dropped so much powerful information there, and they just brought it at the end, like boop, little drop bomb right there. But yeah, it's what floats your boat type of thing. It's, for me, and it's another analogy that I used with somebody before. It's like with ice cream type of thing. Like, some people like chocolate ice cream. Somebody may like strawberry, or somebody may like the combination Neapolitan ice cream. It's whatever ice cream resonates with you. It's totally fine with that. It's not because the chocolate's better than the strawberry or whatever, but we may believe, like, in our own perception of it, chocolate's better than strawberry. Strawberry's crap. That's not good enough because this is much better. But it's all good enough. It's all good enough. It's what works for you in the moment. And what I learned for myself, and like this whole thing of what works for me in the moment, is like, it changes. Like, something works for me right now, something else may work for me even more, depending on where I'm at right now. And I'm grateful, like, okay, this thing that I used got me to this point right now that I'm actually ready to try something else out. But also I check myself too, make sure, like, okay, am I doing this because I feel like this is boring or whatever like that? Or like, I'm curious to see like another expansion, or am I being guided to like try something else out new? Like, for me, I've been doing the same type of meditation for like over a year and a half now, and it's been profound. And the cool thing about it is it reminds me of my favorite basketball player, Kobe, what he said of the way to be great is to do the little things correctly, do those little steps correctly, and master those little steps that you're doing. So that's what I take that approach with my practice. I'm doing the same things, but it's the same essence of it, like being with myself. How do I want to be with myself today? Type of thing.
And here's the part of the show where we get kicked off of YouTube for playing this clip, but I want to play this clip because we have the technology to do it. So, and here it is. And if it has any cursing, I'm sorry.
How's it going, man? Oh, you know, I smell that barbecue. Y'all know I ain't passing up on a barbecue.
Oh, we know that.
Pop want to get his ear. Let me sit down here. Now, I know there's some food left, right?
Hey, Keisha, bring Mr. Butler a plate.
A nice size plate, Keisha.
Anyway, I'm so glad you come. Because I was talking to my brothers here about drugs in the community.
And I always seem to be outnumbered, so, I just want to know your opinion on it.
Well, as I see Kevin trying to hide that reefer, it's okay to smoke it. I used to smoke a little reefer myself one time when I was much younger.
I ain't never smoked the chronic, though.
I don't know about the chronic.
All they not doing nothing but destroying their minds, falling right into the devil's plan. That's all they doing.
What the hell is the devil's plan?
This is the devil's plan right there. That's the devil's plan.
Man, don't doing that shit, nigga. What's my motherfucking choice? Hey, Reese. Why you always tripping, man?
I know, calm your boy
I
down.
mean, you got a father, man.
And you got a grandmother and a grandfather. And I'm pretty sure they tell you everything that my father tell me. But you don't listen anyway, so what's the difference?
Hold on, man. Hold on. Mr. Butler, man. I'm just curious to know what's up. Sharif be coming at us every day. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
Why does he act like this? I mean, what are y'all talking about at home?
He's a good guy, man. That girl's a little slow on that plate, ain't she?
Hey, kid, hurry up. Bring the motherfucking plate.
Look, listen, man, they played everything but the clip I was looking for. It cut off right at the part. But anyway, he's right after that. He says, if Muhammad can make him a better man, he coming at us with that Muslim stuff. But I think it's interesting too for the conversation. Like their relationship with Sharif there was like what we talked about at the beginning, the zealot. Why every time you around us, you're always talking about Jesus. In that case, it was Muhammad, and y'all need to clean your life up. And listen, every time you come around, you always giving us a hard time about smoking weed and drinking and all that. That zealot thing. But that's their honorable service to God. Like, why keep that to yourself if it's something that has changed your life? If it's something that means a lot to you, like you'd be a fool to keep it to yourself. Like if you have what can save people. I talk about this a lot. That's why I honor people for trying to save you from hell. You know what I'm saying? Like some of your mother and things, like she's only doing what she think is right. What if she knew you was going to hell and she's just okay with it and she just gave up on you? Like what would that say for a lot of Christians who are scared to save face with you, and they don't want to tell you because they're co-workers with you and they don't want you to be mad at them. They think you're going to hell. When you die, you're going to hell, but they don't want to tell you that you are because you'll judge them or whatever. For that person who is convicted and say, I got to tell you, man, listen, you're going to hell and you got to change your life. If you don't, the consequences are eternal. You're not going to hell for a little while. You're going to hell forever, and you got to change. So it was Penn Jillette in an interview, a little talk he did where he was like, listen, I don't respect even though I think Christianity's funny, that it's ridiculous. Like, I don't respect a Christian or a religious person that doesn't proselytize. Because if I'm going to hell and you're just going to let me go, listen, if I really believed that narrative still today, I would be in traffic. Hey guys, wait, you're going to die. And so those people who do that, even though we don't agree with them, it's laughable. They're doing that. Fags are going to hell. God hates gays. Listen, they strongly believe it. Thank you for telling me. And I think I don't believe that, but thank you for thinking of me. You know what I'm saying? To tell me.
Yeah. I wanted to share my perspective real quick on that too.
Yeah,
let's open another one. And it's like, somebody like doing that. It's like, I respect that, like you mentioned. And also because I've done that before of doing that. But for myself, and it's something we mentioned earlier in this conversation, it's so much more power in embodying your beliefs. Or for me, I feel embodying your beliefs and showing somebody the possibility, showing yourself what it's like to, let's say for a Christian, to show what it's like to be a saved person, to show what it's like to embody the teachings and the essence of Jesus, of being like Jesus. And the thing with Jesus, like his 12 disciples, look who he made his 12 disciples. He met them where they were at to have that conversation, to show them that unconditional love.
Like
that
Sharif.
It got him,
with the smokers and drinkers.
But even for like Sharif on the other level with him, what he was doing, like, or what they were saying, like, man, you're getting on me for smoking weed and all this other stuff like that. And like, it's great because he's a friend. He's showing like a supportive friend like that. But even like a deeper, like for me, and it's like my curious cat thing, trying to figure out like, oh, why do you like to smoke weed a lot? And just being curious about it, just to hear their story, or like, why do you drink? Why do you like to drink compared to like, you're not supposed to be doing this or this stuff?
I think even in that conversation, they kind of gave you an inkling. They said, man, Sharif, why you tripping, man? You got a father at home.
Yeah.
You know?
I heard, that's exactly what I heard. Like, you got a father and those other stuff. But the thing that he went directly to, like, oh, you got a grandmother and those other stuff and like that. Instead of like, let's be in the moment with that real quick. It's like, oh, so what do you?
A father is not a grandmother.
Yeah. I was like, I'm curious. I want to understand more. Like, what do you see, or what do you believe that my father's given me that you're not getting? So I can actually hear him say what's going on with him and bring up like the story or whatever beliefs you have right now, and have like a shifting moment with that.
Yeah.
Like hearing that, it's so cool because I was hearing that, I'm like, wow.
The psychology of it, we can pick it up, you know?
Yeah. It's great because like this
is deep too. So doing counseling with people, coaching, and you do it. One of the biggest things I teach this, I train people on how to do this stuff. Is confession. There's healing and forgiveness in confession. That's in the Bible, right? That's a universal truth to get it out of you. When you do a session with somebody, there's things that they'll open up and tell you that they won't even tell their wife. You know, that they find this place where they can get it out of you. Just like at a confessional at a Catholic church. Oh, dear Father, it's been so-and-so since I've been here. Listen, I killed a man. Hey, I've been cheating on my taxes or whatever. And they get it out of you. Okay, you're forgiven. They just let them know they're forgiven. You can tell them anything. Okay, you're forgiven. That person just has to release it. So we know that when we sit down, now we do this on one-on-one sessions, but we do this in life too. Like we take this with us. It ain't just for no session. That if we let the person talk long enough, they will tell you what it is that they're dealing with. All you got to do is be a good listener, right? To let them tell you what they're dealing with.
Exactly. It's the term that is out there in the spiritual community, holding space.
Yeah.
Of like just allowing somebody to just have a conversation and get it out, because, and you can see it on social media, when somebody actually just lets out what's going on, they may get shamed and judged and all this other stuff, get turned into a meme or whatever it may be like that. Yeah. But like to have a space like that, and that's a space I love, and that's the space that I love to hold for people, of like just getting it out there. Just imagine the possibility of just being able to say what you say, and it's okay. Say whatever is coming up, because then you got it out and you're able to shift that energy into love.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, just even in that one thing, so much healing. The fact that you get to release it. Like, when I train people in like the meditation, the spiritual work, the woo-woo energy healing, listen, that's just icing on the cake, baby. Like, let them get it off their chest and find this sacred space with you where they feel okay to share what they're going through. Everything else, I think it's icing on the cake. Now we're going to minister healing, forgiveness, help you get out of it, learn, new neural pathways to create in your mind of ways that you won't be dealing with the same stuff. But listen, the hard work is done. As long as they can confess it and just get it out of them, the hard part's done. It's easy from that point on.
Yep, exactly.
All part of the process. And we do that with, like I said, within a conversation, and with somebody, just letting them open up and tell you, listen, you ain't got to beg them to tell you. They're going to tell you. That's their fruit. A good tree produces good fruit. A bad tree is not going to produce, somebody who's hurt, somebody who's cut is going to bleed. If you're cut, you're going to bleed. And if somebody touches that part that you're bleeding from, that's your wound. You're wounded. And you're going to get triggered when someone touches it. So even us, you're talking about these, you thought you were healed, you thought you were good, and then this old stuff keeps coming up and you're offended. You want to be understood. You want people to honor you where you are and respect your decisions, and you get upset when they don't. And when people are gossiping or making fun of your spirituality, why are you upset? Why are you connected with the outcome? Why are you not just sitting in what is? So there's a lot of healing for us to do when we find ourselves still committed to an outcome, you know what I'm saying, of another person's experience or another person's view of you.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We're going deep.
Amen. No, I'm saying, amen. Like, yes.
So, man, let people know, dude. I've enjoyed this talk, bro. It's been good. I'm glad we got to connect, and I love being able to connect. And we connected off air, a couple weeks ago, but I really like doing it on air. Get on the camera and just kind of get to know one another and tell your story. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. Let people know, man, the services that you provide, what you got going on, and where people can find out more about your work.
Yeah, sure. So I got a couple of things going on besides my life coaching, or I call it soul connecting coaching. At TruthEssenceConnection.com. I do have a podcast with my wife in which you're going to be a guest as well.
Snap.
It's called Our Daily Magic, and you can find Our Daily Magic on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, Our Daily Magic, one word. And besides that, that's what I'm doing. I'm just serving, I'm being, and also just connecting with people. So you can find me also on Instagram at True Essence Connection, one word. And besides that, I'm just here to serve. I'm here to serve, I'm here to experience, and here to be the student and the teacher simultaneously.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, be the pupil and the the teacher. That's good. You have to be both. And I've said it many times, especially from a religious standpoint. I cannot sit under anyone or learn from someone who has it all figured out. Like if they're not still teachable, I don't really want to learn from them. If they're a know-it-all, I'm not going to partake from them. I feel it spiritually, and I can't. There's an arrogance that comes with their teaching,
Oh yeah, it's like, how do you know infinite? Come on.
Yeah, I've been there. Man, thanks for hanging out with me. We got to do some more stuff, man.
Yes, sir.
I got this platform, and I'm looking to bring on other healers and coaches and content creators and stuff. And maybe we can do another podcast or something like that. But I can't wait to come on yours and be introduced to your community and everything you got going on there, and continue the conversation, bro.
Man.
I'm gonna play this song like I said I would, Enter the Void.
Yes.
Now you're welcome to stay and listen. If it's about 5 minutes, you're welcome to listen, and you're welcome to leave.
Yeah.
But you gonna vibe
with
me?
Yeah, let's vibe.
All right. I said I was gonna play this.
Let go
Enter the
your
Void.
earthly tether. Enter the void. Empty and become wind. Empty and become wind.
When everything you wouldn't see, it'll blow your mind outside you see you find the realms of possibilities. Connect with the infinite intellect to receive other positive energy. Reciting a sacred mantra to lift you to higher frequencies. Archives and constellations, star signs, when the planets align, new paradigms and paralyzed. From the vivid of the succubus at nighttime, hypnotized. Sometimes when I watch us climb to the sunrise, gonna set you free from the unbelief, gonna break your mind from the confines. Spirits leaving, changing seasons, principalities undefeated over a certain region. Shamanic novice with knowledge, commune with higher beings with a deeper meaning. The reason Solomonic magic in Jesus with the huge of channeling demons. Throw it off, sorta, let's portal to the paranormal. Hearing these voices speaking to me when spirit touches immortal. When knife in my back and I bleed through the scars as I can view see through my flaws. Staring at the stars and the rhythm and wars, so I open at the doors with the Ouija board. I believe the path where the past is destroyed. Strive at 0 point. Enter the void. This is the light. Holographically ignore darkness, you can't avoid. Into the void. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Here. Into the void. Enter the ritual, step in the temple, connect with the spiritual realm. Metaphysical, chanting your physical pathways, speed on the physical world. You could ascend to the kingdom of heaven or sit and stay living in hell. Mystical, mystic, and dark, a lyrical shaman, lifting a spell. Witness the miracle, traveling beyond the body, see this is a show. And you in the third dimension of prism, the got us in prison cells. Sit between 4 and 20 elders, the split into 12s. You can hear them whispering if you listening well. Came to awaken the ancient of days, man, I stay ringing the bell. Mythical, not from the place where the wicked fell back to the kingdom of hell. Blessed with the wisdom of forming the exorcism, the sins get expelled. To hear the demons and angels, balance the energies, myself. I'm trying to find a path between the light and the dark. I'm writing to spark a link between the mind and the heart. We've got to unite both sides before they divide us apart. Said we've got to unite both sides before they divide us apart. Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point, enter the void. This is fractal math, holographically enjoy. Darkness we can't avoid.
Enter the void, everything disappear
right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Here. Enter the void. Now I'm green with nothing. Why y'all good for nothing? My 100,000 pedal loaders, dopamine over flooded. Stargate runners, dragons out the dungeon. My Hakali been summoned. Total destruction into a vacuum suction. Conjunction, junction, that's my function. Through a star cluster in a maritime custom. Stellar dust encrusted. I ain't touching your disgusting judgments. We rise above it, enjoying the void. Source of pure joy. No more discussion.
Then what happens?
You will open an ancient spirit portal.
I'm sorry, what now?
At the South Pole, there is a portal that connects our world to the spirit world. But it has long been closed.
And that's why the evil spirits are attacking?
There are no evil spirits. There's light and dark in them all. And when they're unbalanced, the darkness takes over. If you can open the portal in time, balance will be restored.
What do you mean in time?
There's a reason the Glacier Spirits Festival ends on the winter solstice. That's when the spirit world and the physical world are close together. Only then can the Avatar open the portal.
Winter solstice is tomorrow.
Exactly.
All right. That's it. Man, I don't know. I don't know. I know you could hear it through the system. I think everybody else was hearing it through my microphone. Sorry, I think I clicked the wrong thing. But go listen to it for yourselves, guys. Enter the Void, myself, TruthSeekah, Aslan, the Black Magician, and Illuminati Congo, for sure.
Bruh.
It's a good one.
Bruh. Wow.
I know. What you remember what I said at the beginning? Like, people are like, give us some more new music. Give us new music. Like, listen, that's not a. You don't learn a. At least I don't. Maybe other people do. I don't learn like a system or like I can push a button and it comes out. Like that has to come from like going in deep from the void. Like that comes from the void. You know. I think I'm almost done with another album. It's gonna be called White Magic, and so I've got some stuff I've been working on, but it's few and further between. It's kind of hard for me to do. You know. You liked it though?
I love it. And can I share with you what helped me to be able to expand deeper within my own business and things just started to unravel even deeper? And it's because like you already are doing that deep meditation work, which is amazing. That's the way of getting there, getting into that void. But just think about it as well. This idea, this thing that you're creating, whether it's this music album or even a song, it came from that same space, the void.
Yeah.
And with it being in that space of the void, it's a consciousness. It has its own consciousness being birthed through you. It's like the divine chose you to bring it out and birthed it out. But in deep meditation, this is what I do with my business, is I'm able to have a conversation with it and able to get responses and hear it like, okay, I'm not doing this alone. I'm actually doing a co-creation with this thing that's looking to birth through me.
Yeah.
And how can I be able to do this next? What's the next step I need to take?
Yeah.
How can I be able to do this or whatever? Like I'm surrendering. I hear you. You want to come through me. Let's co-create this together and allow the support and intuition, whatever happens that allows us to birth in a more effortless way compared to being hard. Because like for me, when things are hard, it's because I'm not using the full tools that I have around me to be able to help me to like break through it.
Yeah.
But it's great because it's awareness. Like this is hard the way I'm doing it now, but there's infinite support available. We just gotta get into that state of allowing the infinite support to show up for us and to help us and guide us. And you're already doing deep, like I said, deep meditation work. So it's pretty easy for you. Just next time you go there, because we could go over intentions. So let's say go over intentions. I'm gonna have a conversation with this album. I'm gonna have the conversation with this song, and be able to have a conversation with it and see what happens.
I think, you know, I tell people what you start in the quiet place with God, this conversation with God, and you go for answers. And it's the same thing we're doing, you know, going to God, the universe, to all. And a lot of people want answers right then, you know, but I think that the Creator continues that conversation when we open our eyes and go to work and go speak to our spouse or watch a movie. Like that continue, like you asked the question here, but I'm going to answer you in this Menace to Society gangster movie you're watching. You know what I'm saying? So like it's continued in other places, and so it's channeled through a television, through a conversation. That information, God is speaking to you through everything, because you're apt to listen, and you know that he or it will speak to you. And so I've been kind of like over the years, like just channeling those songs, channeling those experiences, articulating my own personal experiences, and it's just been beautiful. And I've been able to serve it to people, and I've been able to let that music minister to me, because like you said, I feel like responsible with something heavenly that I don't think that I could create. And people are like, TruthSeekah, give us more. It's like, I can't do it. I have to receive it. It has. If I'm not inspired, there's no music coming. It's not going to be good. It's going to be silly. I'm not the best rapper, and you know all of this stuff. So I want to be responsible with that energy. But it goes back to what you said, because we teach people meditation. I meditate. I had a breakthrough yesterday, man. I don't know how long it's been, dude, since I went in deep for myself. But I went in yesterday, dude, and man, it was so good. It was like the first time. It was just like, and I remembered why I fell in love with this stuff. I remembered the information. I remember the energy. I remember all of the things that kind of seem foreign, because it's been so long since I went in. I'm talking about deep. I ain't talking about just sit there and say a prayer and take a couple breaths. I do that anyway, but I'm talking about going in deep. I did it yesterday. I came out with all kinds of stuff. It's me trying to create it versus like just go get it, you know, and say, hey, what do you want to say? You're a channel. What do you want to say? Like, okay, what are you talking to? God, spirits, demons? Listen, we're going to channel it through God, and whatever his order of hierarchy of angels that want to come through and give you this information, be responsible. It is love. It is light. It is healing. And yesterday, dude, I had breakthrough, and it makes me emotional, but like, it's good, dude. And it could have been years since I've done that. Like, that's the thing. It could have been years since I've done it. It probably has been a year. I go similar places on sessions with people, but that's for them. You're holding space. I'm talking about for me, to go in that deep. And there's, you know, there's levels to it. Going back to the Bible, the inner court, the outer court, and the Holy of Holies. Like, you got to go in as the priest after the order of Melchizedek, this Meldekian order. You got to put on that robe of righteousness, the robe of intention, throw off all expectation, and go in for yourself. And it's been a long time since I did it. I did it yesterday. I got chills talking about it now. I'm excited to keep going in deeper and deeper and deeper, and to renew my passion for this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's where that music came from. You know, that's where all of the stuff comes from. So to try to switch it up now, why? You know, there's no reason to switch it up now. We got to, you know, return to your first love. Remember why you got started. Listen, come on.
Yeah, buddy. Fill up that cup. Wow. Now that you know.
So if that's music, if that's courses, if that's breath work, listen, I just want to be a conduit for whatever, you know. So
ooh-wee. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And we got to teach. And the reason I say that, I'm testifying. Like in church, I'm testifying, because what God did for me, he can do for you. You can go in and you can commune with your destiny, your life's purpose, the angels that are watching over you, the Bible says that there's angels sent to watch over and to minister to those. There are ministering spirits sent to those who are to inherit salvation. Like they have tools, they're helping you. You can go and get information from this place where all information exists. It's a book of remembrance. It's the Akashic, whatever you want to call it. And we got access to that. And so for us not to access it and try to do it upon our own, you could do it. You can make up some really cool stuff. But listen, when you got the help of of all of eternity behind you. Come on.
It's different level. Yeah.
Man, listen. And so I don't take any responsibility for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't take any credit for that. I'll say that, like, because I'm benefiting from it just like everybody else is. I'm just a conduit. I've said yes. And so when you say yes, it's kind of the same thing. And then we get enough people saying, yes, listen, we change. Like the earth is going through a spiritual awakening because we're saying yes. People's lives are being wrecked with God's love and majesty through all of this stuff that we're creating, through the plant medicines that carry this ancient message of love and of intention and of the now moment. And it's embodied through religion. It's embodied through art and through music and through so much stuff that we're carriers of this sacred flame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about the future. So,
yeah, man. I just started saying this more recently of I'm the bridge. And the bridge meaning my experience on both spectrums, of which I mentioned before, being strictly Christian and then strictly spiritual.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm a bridge of just embodying everything of my journey. I'm the embodiment of my journey to be able to just show the possibility of what can happen by you embodying it. But also, like you said, surrendering to that higher power of really just being a humility. Like, okay, yeah, I in this physical world, I'm doing this coaching business, or for you, you're doing your music, your classes and those type of stuff, but you're allowing yourself to be a channel to allow God to express that energy through you in a powerful way, and with humility saying, this is not me. This is God coming through me. I'm just a conduit. I'm a conduit of something far bigger that's here to help shift humanity. It's a bigger purpose. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's a bigger plan than all of us. It's a divine order of what's happening right now, and we're just playing our part. It's another thing I said it a long time ago. I got this from doing plant medicine. I said, I'm just a special note in this symphony called universal life, unity consciousness.
That's it. That's why you find those similarities, throughout everything. I find it in the Bible because I'm looking for it. But it's Hermetic principles. It's universal law, and it's so weird. And I've loved just what this podcast has allowed me to talk to hundreds of people now that I would have never spoke with, and they don't know anything about my journey. They wasn't raised in church. They don't know Christianese, but like, it's the same journey. They've come to the same conclusions about life, about God, about reality, from a different perspective and standpoint. And so people say, do all paths lead to God? It led us there. It may have took, different paths and deviated. But when you come to this oneness, man, and it's a path of love. It is a path of acceptance. But yeah, I know something greater is there, that we've tapped into something universal. It ain't just for me. It's not just for Christians. You know what I'm saying? It's not just for whoever, New Agers, like, it's for everybody. And I find that echoed through many leaders and teachers over the years. A big one I always talk about, people, I probably sound like a broken record, but I always want to say it. Billy Graham, the greatest evangelist of our day, had come to this conclusion at the end of his life, man, talking about how God has a people for his name's sake that are in other religions. He said they might be in Islam, they might be Hindus, they may have never even heard the name of Jesus. He said, but they are part of the body of Christ. So to hear the greatest evangelist of our day, man, you know what I'm saying, like, come to that conclusion at the end of his life, and it was just like profound, and it was just like validated, like this awakening, you know what I'm saying, this conscious awakening that God loves everybody, and it is awakening. Maybe everybody has to come to that epiphany. I read the Bible, and Peter had to come to that epiphany because they were like, well, God only deals with Jews, and so God came to him and sent an angel to speak to him in a dream, gave him this dream of this prayer shawl, this sheet that comes down with all these animals on it, and the animals that were on it were animals that they called unclean, that they wouldn't eat. And God says, take these animals and eat. And he's like, what are you saying? We're not doing the law no more? We're not Jewish no more? And then it says he comes to find out that the interpretation was that no man It says man. It has nothing, that vision had nothing to do with food. The animals were symbolic that you called people animals. Jesus called a woman a dog, just so you guys know that. And we got to see how deep, and that they would not associate with them. But it changed. God speaks through Peter and says, listen, the person that you was calling a pig, the person that you called a donkey and you did not associate with, I am not a respecter of persons, and you need to go and deal with this person you called a dog. He's just like you. And it opened up the door for this beautiful message of God's love to go to the Gentile nations, and everyone was included. And it had to come through a dream. It had to come through a vision. And many of us deal with those same again, the card. Hello, I'm a Hindu, or you're not welcome in our church, or I can't, man, it is a profound, and we have different ways of getting there, but that's how I got there,
Yeah, man. Infinite ways to the same destination. Eventually, we're all going to get there anyway. Like we said before, we all going to eventually graduate from this physical body to reunite with God anyway. So we all going to get to that same destination eventually anyway.
This is temporary, man. And I would hate to, like, die, and we get on the other side and like, man, why would you so bitter, man? Why did you didn't learn, dude? And I gave you plenty of chances to graduate, to move to the next level. I'm not big on reincarnation, to be honest with you, but I am big on that this life is to prepare us for something greater on the other side. That this is, some people would say a simulation. I would say a test. You got 90 years, or supposedly 40 years, whatever you get. This is your test to find out, when you wake up and you unplug from the matrix, listen, okay, you passed the test. Come over here. I got some more things I want to show you. There's more responsibility for you to have on the other side. That's how people become masters. Some people maybe get sent back as a spirit teacher for your ancestral line. Jesus was taught by the great cloud of witnesses, and that Moses and Elijah appeared to him, and he would communicate with them. Like that, you have to graduate to be able to teach from beyond the grave. I mean, come on, we're getting deep in man, listen, we got roles, man. So listen, enjoy the process, respond with love, man. Everybody is an extension of who you are.
Yeah. And let's co-create heaven together.
Let's do it. And let's do it together. We are spirit, we are breath. Let's do this. I'm gonna count down from 3. When I count down from 3, we're gonna end this session with the breath together. 3-part breathing. We're gonna breathe in at the peak of the breath. We're gonna breathe in through the nostrils. At the peak of the breath, I just want you to say an inward thank you to God, to the Holy Spirit, to your guides, to your ancestors, to your enemies. You're at one with everything. So you're gonna breathe in, thank you to the all, and then we're gonna simply exhale. Ready, guys? 3, 2, 1. Breathe in deep. Thank you, and release. That's it. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Bunch of stuff coming up. Go to the website, TruthSeekah.com, themysticcircle.net. We're going to be doing breath work Sunday morning. We're going to go deep. I got a bunch of cool techniques that we're going to do, how to stimulate the third eye. There's some mantras and things, and some mudras that I want to teach you guys that we're all doing. We just didn't know that we're doing. It's going to be good. We're going to consciously create. Sunday morning, you get access to it all. The